Hi, and welcome to me almost forgetting to do my intro to this video. Anyway, in a couple of hours I'll be driving down to Houten, or at least to Trelleborg, which I will be taking a ferry over to Germany. Then I'll travel to Houten to get my Satanic little geckos. So that will be interesting. Just to start off the video, I want to say that I bought those geckos for quite a while ago and they were pretty expensive, so with Corona and everything it was kind of difficult to go down to Houten and get them. For a while it was getting a little bit better, so I was thinking maybe I can take a chance and buy those geckos. With that being said, I already deposited money for those geckos and then everything went to shit again. So it's either to lose my money or go and getting those geckos. Either way is kind of it's worse. I don't know. Either way it's kind of a weird thing to do. I mean, with Corona and everything you don't really want to travel, but at the same time I don't want to lose about 2,000 euros. So sadly enough I have to take the risk and go getting my geckos. As I said in my previous videos, I don't really want any couriers to have those geckos because they were pretty expensive and they're very delicate. Not many of those couriers have actually handled or even met those geckos before, that species. So I'm really worried about that they won't be able to provide good transport for them. And I really don't want them to die on the transport here to Sweden. So with that being said, I decided to actually go down to Houten and try to get them myself. How it looks like for now, it's the 4th of December right now, and it's not getting any better with Corona and everything, and I've already waited for 4 months already, and they can't keep those geckos anymore. So they're even gonna put up them for sale if I don't get them, or I'll have to travel across Europe to get them myself. It's really sad because I don't really want to travel. I don't want to condone traveling across the Europe when Corona and everything is on and being so contagious. But I will take very careful. I will be very careful. I do have a whole bottle of disinfection for my hands and I have a lot of masks in my car also. I will be traveling by the car, so most likely I won't be seeing so many people. So yeah, and when I get back to Sweden again I will take the COVID test again just to make sure I don't have anything and so I don't spread it to anyone else. So with that being said, now I'm going to travel. back. Maybe like this. So, hi, I'm back. As you can see, the bridge was the last thing I filmed. And that was the bridge from Denmark to Sweden, so for Malmö. And I'm gonna get back to that because that was the border of Sweden and that was a lot of fun too. So I'm just gonna start off by saying that the trip went very well. I went down to Trelleborg and over to Germany. That was absolutely no problem. Then in Germany we picked up some snakes for transport to Sweden. And we went to Amsterdam for my lizards, and then we spent a night in the hotel over there. Before getting back to Germany, picking up more snakes and going through Denmark into Sweden again. So the whole trip went very well. No problems. The snakes had all the papers they needed, along as well with my geckos too. They have city's paper, and I have permission to transport some reptiles into Sweden. So we got to the border, to the Swedish border, and they were checking out the passports. I had my snakes I had the snakes and my lizards in the what do you call it? Like a styrofoam boxes. So everyone was like secured and tucked in those boxes with along with heating pads or heating packs. So we got to the border and the Swedish police was checking the passports and everything. Everything went well, and then they asked what I had in my boxes. And I told them it was snakes. So the lady asking me was like, nope, and she got very, I don't know, maybe she was scared, but she like got out of there very fast. So some other police had to take over. Then we were pulled aside. It was me and my stepdad driving. So we were the only people in the car, and then we had 7 snakes and my 4 geckos. So they pulled us aside, they separated us, and a female police took me into a room where I had to strip. Like everything I had on me, I had to take off, so she could like feel everything I had in my clothes, I guess. And then I had to stay naked there for a little while so she could check so that I don't know, maybe I don't have the drugs and drugs on me or something. That was a fun experience. I've never done that before. Then I get to keep my clothes on again, so I had to take my clothes on. And then they checked everything we had in my car. So they just took out everything I had in my car. All the papers, all the notebooks, all the packaging we had, like the snakes and everything. And the funny story was, they were starting to check the documents for the snakes and my lizards. And that was basically no problem because I had all the permissions and every paper from the breeders and everything. They were very careful with contacting the I don't know what it's called in English, but we have something called Jordbruksverket here in Sweden, which is basically taking care of all the permission for animals, and they check so you don't have any illegal animals, you don't take in any illegal animals and such. But I did have permission to transport reptiles into Sweden with them, and everything checked out, so there was no problem. When I transported the snakes to one of the guys, and they actually told me that something happened in Germany a little while ago, which made Sweden amp up their security while getting into the country. I had no clue about it, but I mean, I had nothing to hide. I didn't have any drugs or anything on me, so they did what I had to, I guess. I respect their job. It was really annoying, but I respect their job and what I do. So that was really interesting. That was really fun. And as you can see, I look like shit. I drove for 16 hours. I mean, it was a good thing that I took my stepfather with me, because it was really nice to not have to drive for a little while, so we could switch the drivers. Germany was a little bit interesting because it was very dark. The highway was pretty boring. It was so boring. It was like rain all the way to Netherlands. And then in Netherlands, as fast as we passed the border, or like the little sign that says Netherlands, the sun started to shine, and it was like a whole different environment in there. The Netherlands were really nice to drive in. We drove on a highway. Oh, another thing to mention in Germany, they drive really fast. Like you have 3 lanes. One lane is for trucks and like slower cars. Then you have a middle lane, which is for fast cars. They drive like 200 kilometers in an hour. And then you have the third lane, which is like big people driving really, really fast. They drove like 300 kilometers in an hour or so. And what was really neat was that no one was like sitting in the left lane, just being there. You either drove or they just honked you to death so you can move over. So that was a little bit scary to drive in Germany. As I said, as soon as we passed the border between Netherlands and Germany, everything just changed. Like it was so sunny, it was so nice in the Netherlands. It was really interesting to see like everything on the sides of the highway. They had really nice and cute houses everywhere. They had a lot of farming houses, and the houses were so cute. They had like what do you call that? The roof on the houses were really nice. It's a weird thing to notice, but the roof of the houses was really cute. They also had like a lot of horses. They had a lot of sheep, like just walking around. They also had a type of cows. I saw when we were passing on the highway. I saw one of the houses have like those long-haired cows. They were so adorable. So then we got to picking up my geckos, and we picked them up at the dragon import. There were no problems there. I got all the info I needed and such, city's paper, and then we got to the hotel, which was really nice too. I'm gonna put up some pictures maybe. It was called Urban Lodge Hotel, and the whole concept was just to have like a cute little, I don't know, tree house or such. The breakfast was nice. We had to order it the day before, so they knew what we want to get served. And then we kept on driving. So in the morning we got up. Oh, by the way, I slept for like 13-14 hours. I was so tired. So I went to sleep at 6 o'clock in the evening, and then I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I slept through the whole night. Which was really nice because we were going to drive a long way after that too. So the next day we drove back to Germany, pick up 3 more snakes, and then went up through the Denmark in Copenhagen, and then drove over to Sweden, and then just left the snakes on our way up to Stockholm. So yeah, on Monday, so we started our journey on Friday 4th, and then I got home on Monday like 10 o'clock in the morning. It was a really long way to drive. I'm so happy I'm home again. It's so nice to be home. So either way, I finally got my geckos, and it was totally worth doing all that. Also get stripped naked by the police. It was worth it. So I managed to sell off 2 of my crazy gecko babies. So I have this shelf space ready and empty. The problem is that I had to quarantine my geckos when I'm home, but the problem is that I don't have so much space to quarantine them. Our bathroom is really warm, and that's not really accurate temperature for Satanic leaf-tailed geckos. They're really, really delicate and can get dehydrated really quick and fast because their skin is so thin. I mean, compared to crystal geckos can handle a little bit more dryness, a little bit longer than those guys. But these guys are really sensitive to being dried out. So it was also a really good thing that I drove myself instead of having a courier getting them. Because when I got them, they already had been in those tiny plastic containers for 2 days. And it was a really good thing that I took with me a bottle of spraying with water. So when as soon as I got them, I opened the containers and sprayed them down with water, and they were like drinking like crazy. They were so dried out, and I felt so bad for them. So it's a good thing that I personally went and get them, because I don't know if a courier would be able to tell that they are dried out, and that would risk potentially them being dead before getting home to me. So I'm really happy that I myself got to travel and get them myself. As I said before, I put them in small plastic containers, or a little bit bigger plastic containers, and now they are in quarantine. The purpose of quarantine is to separate them from your current animals, and I'll get to that why I couldn't do it. Just because you don't know if they have any sickness or parasites, or maybe they're sick and that can spread over to your other animals. So but the best thing when you get new animals is to just separate them from the current ones you have in your collection and quarantine them for a few weeks. The ideal would be like 2 months, a month, 2 months. Just so you can monitor them eating or pooping and see if they're sick or have something that you can spread to your other animals. Yes, the reason why I can't quarantine them away from my animals is because I don't have any space to quarantine them in. So potentially I'm risking my elder geckos to get sick if they have anything or being sick or anything. I do trust the breeder, and I hope that there isn't anything that can spread to the rest of my collection of my geckos. Currently I only have 3 crystal geckos here in my room and 2 snakes in the living room. So yes, so now I will have to wait a few weeks before I'm putting them into my bioactive tanks, and that's because I want to make sure they're eating well and they're pooping well and they're overall healthy animals before I'm putting them into the bioactive tanks. So yeah, that's the trip. It was really interesting. I'm really tired of my car. I'm probably not gonna drive anywhere for the rest of the week. I'm so tired of my car. I don't want to see it again. So yeah, goodbye.